Peace, love, and abundance, family. Come on in. The portal gate is open. It is time for some self-conscious therapy. Let us elevate our minds and raise up our nations in this time. And so that people may get this message, receive it, and be well as they get it. I want to welcome you to Ghadbody TV. I am your official founder and chairman of the Thesohl-center, bringing you only nothing but higher elevation and self-conscious therapy. So thank you for joining me. Thank you for coming in. Thank you for coming. Thank you for being here. Thank you for visiting this page. Thank you for stopping here. Thank you for tuning in. Everything. Today we want to talk about not self-conscious therapy, but we want to really talk about, are you giving your energy to the wrong things? I am doing a simultaneous telecast tonight. So I am live on Instagram and I am live on Facebook. So don't mind me if I am looking through both lenses, because I'll be operating both cameras. And so I will be working two audiences tonight. As you are tuned in, today's topic is, are you giving your energy to the wrong things? Once again, I said thank you, and I say again, welcome. The portal gate is open. And when I say the portal gate is open, that means it is time to rise as a people. And it is time to elevate our nation, elevate as our people. And this is nothing but deep self-conscious rhetoric that you're going to hear. So it may go over your head, it may not, it may relate, it may not. But the question I ask again and I pose again is, are you giving your energies to the wrong thing? Beloved, there's a lot of things going on out here in the world that I want you to be aware of. There's a lot of things going out here that I need you to be aware of. And the things that are happening out here in the world is causing you to easily be distracted. And as it should, because the ideal of these things appearing is for the purpose to distract you. So there's no coincidence that distraction is happening. It's no coincidence that you are being easily taken off of your path. But I must tell you that you have to give your energy to the right thing. You have to feed the right thing. So we got to really break down what it is that you're feeding, what it is that you're not. So you have a mission in this life, in this world. You have a mission to live out something that's called your purpose. And you're obligated to live that out. So again, the question is, are you giving your energy to the wrong thing? Why do I ask that question? You know, I get asked a lot to do things that doesn't pertain to why I'm put here on this planet. Does that mean I can't wear many hats? Absolutely not. It doesn't mean I can't wear many hats. Okay? I can wear many hats. But if I am distracted so easily by everything thrown at me, then it's going to make it much more difficult for me to accomplish a task. It's going to make it much more difficult for me to get things done. And in this world that we live in, I don't care if you're living in a system or against a system. No matter how you're doing it, you're still living in a system. Meaning, if you're not living according to the system that is presented to you, then you're operating in your own system. Now, there's a saying that goes like this: not to decide is to decide. So even when you're not living in their system, you are still making a decision unconsciously. You're still living in some form of a system. You're still living in some type of system, whether it be your own system or whether it be a system presented to you. You're still going to be living within a system. Even if you're living against their system, you're still living in a system. The question is the system that you're living in conducive and profitable, not on a financial level, on a mental, spiritual, and emotional level? Is the system you living in producing? Is the system that you're living in feeding into you? This is why I came up with this topic. Are you giving your energy to the wrong thing? Because a lot of you need to understand that some of you are giving your energy to things that don't pertain to a passion or a dream or ideal that you have. Some of you are giving your energy to things that have been presented to you. And a lot of your energy is being dispersed. You ever seen a rock go into a pond and how the energy of that ripple disperse in all directions? Well, that's how they do you when you don't have a focus. See, your mind is like the ocean. Your mind is like the ocean. And they may drop a little pebble, and all it takes is a small pebble for a ripple effect to happen. And so they may drop a small pebble in the pond of your mind, and thus now that pond called your mind disperses energy in all different directions, because that ripple effect doesn't just go in one direction. That ripple disperses outward like this. And so that's your mind. And so you have to look at what you're giving energy to, because whatever you give energy to is going to produce a ripple effect in your life. Whatever you're paying attention to is going to produce a ripple effect in your life. It's going to disperse energy. Now, if you're giving energy to something that you're passionate about, that you love, that you know that this is what you came here to do, then in that space that you're giving energy to, beloved, that is going to do what? Create a similar type of energy, meaning that all of the energy that you put into this one idea or this thing is going to feed in all that. It's going to feed and disperse out in all directions of your life. Let me give you an example. So whenever I look at my purpose, why I'm here, I like to make the core ideal around what I do. I like to center it by looking at it like this. I am a messenger. Let's just call it that. I'm a messenger, right? And how can I spread that message? And then I start to draw these little outlines from that. I create like this tree, and from that I create these branches on the tree that are going in many different directions. But I create the tree. And then I ask myself, okay, if I'm a messenger, the question then becomes, how can I get my message out more than one way? And just to give you an example, I would look at that and say, okay, I can do podcasts. That's getting the message out. I can do live videos. That's getting the message out. I can put my message on a t-shirt. That's getting the message out. I could do radio. That's getting the message out. I can create quotes and posts. That's getting the message out. I can speak and write a book. Those are two different ways I can get a message out. And so I look at, okay, if I'm a messenger, how many ways can I get a message out? And so I center myself in that, and then I surround myself with those avenues that I can get a message out. So therefore, every way I turn, I'm dispersing. In every way I turn, I'm creating for myself platforms or avenues that when I disperse this energy of what is called me being a messenger, when I disperse this energy, no matter which way I turn, I am feeding into the systems that allow me to continuously keep getting the message out. You get what I'm saying? So if I am a messenger and I'm in the center of that, then I create outlets that go in different directions. Okay? So everywhere I turn, everywhere I walk and everywhere I turn, if I am living in my purpose, then I can only feed into the system I've built around me. I can only feed into the system I've built around me. And so the system I build around me is allowing me to get fed back. You get what I'm saying? So this is why I posed the question, are you giving your energy to the wrong thing? Because if what you giving your energy to does not feed back into you, beloved, then you're giving your energy to the wrong thing, whether it be a relationship, whether it be a business idea, whether it be a partnership, whether it be a job. If there is no receiving back from that on an intrinsic level, not an extrinsic, but an intrinsic level, if there's no feeding back into the system I operate within, then I'm giving my energy to the wrong thing. There are people that come to me all the time and be like, hey, brother, would you like to join this? Or would you like to do this? Or would you? I have to be real and say, no, I can't do that, because it doesn't allow me. If it takes me away from the ability to produce, perform, and create a message, if it doesn't apply or relate to what I do, meaning if I can't use that avenue to spit and spew and promote and talk about what I'm here to do, if I can't use that avenue to share the knowledge I know, if I can't use that avenue to teach what I know, then I am feeding into something that is not able to feed back into me, because that thing is not what I'm put here to do. But more importantly than what you're not put here to do, that thing is not what you're passionate about. That thing is not what you're passionate about. What you're not passionate about, you're not going to produce from that. And so you have to be, in order to produce, you have to be passionate about what you're doing. And if there's no passion, even in a relationship, if there's no passion, it's not going to survive. You understand? If there's no passion in love, if there's no passion in love making, if there's no passionate intimacy on all levels, spiritually, mentally, emotionally, if there's no passion in that, you know what I'm saying, then it's going to die right there where it's at. So you have to be cautious and look at, what are you giving your energy to? If it's flat, if it's dead, if it's not picking up and growing any legs on it so that it takes off in a direction, then beloved, you giving your energy to the wrong thing. You see, hold on, I got to work out my system to help. Yeah, so we have to look at the system that we are creating around us. It's beautiful, it's okay, and it's all right to look into different things that may fit, and it has to, that may fit within what you do, or fit within what you bring, or fit within why you're here. It's okay to look into those things. Let me go back to my example. I like to say this. At the core of who I am, if I just narrow it down, take all of the ramifications off of it, and I just narrow it all the way down, at the core of who I am, I will call myself a messenger. I'm a messenger. Let's just keep it simple. Simplicity is key, right? So at the core of who I am, what I do, I produce messages. The messages that I get, right, resonating with this. The messages that I get and I bring to you have to be related. I'm mostly in 99% of the time, I won't come on here. You all know this because I'm not on here every day. So I won't come on here if I don't have anything to speak about. More so, I won't come on here if I'm definitely not going to come on here if what I'm speaking about is not related to what I am, what I do, what I believe I'm here to do. And so that's why I always push and speak and teach and tell you about the 5 laws of holistics. This is a method. This is a practice. This is a system in which I operate. So in that system, meditation, fitness, nature, nutrition, and arts, in that 5 holistic law system that I've created for myself, I can now build my brand, build my name. I can now center myself in that and then work from that outwardly. So anything that I do has to be related. If I'm coming on here, it's going to be related to any of those 5 things. If you see me in public, it's going to be related to those 5 things. If you see me talking about something, sharing something, it's going to be related to one of those 5 things. And 99% of the time, that's me being the center core, that pebble that hits the pond and creates the ripple effect that disperses energy out. So guess what? If I'm operating in the space of, maybe I might get a phone call and say, hey, we love for you to come and speak at this organization, and we love for you to talk about meditation. Okay, cool. Guess what? I don't have to go into that speaking engagement and break down the 5 laws of holistic system that I operate in. I don't have to talk about meditation, fitness, nature, nutrition, and arts. No, if I'm getting asked to come and speak about meditation, I'm going to show up and speak about meditation, but I understand that that one speaking opportunity or engagement is also allowing me to feed into the other systems that I operate from. You understand what I'm saying? And so just because I may be talking about meditation at one point doesn't mean that I'm neglecting the other things. No, actually I'm feeding those other things. Why is that? Because I'm the rock in the center of that pond. I am dispersing energy all around me. I'm dispersing energy outwardly. And that energy is touching all facets of those avenues that I speak in. So as I speak on meditation, I'm actually feeding those other things that's growing. Me speaking on meditation is allowing fitness, nature, nutrition, and arts to grow as well. Those avenues are also growing too. You understand? So there's no neglect of those things. And that's why I said it's okay. You can wear many hats, but those hats have to be related. As I used the example earlier, if I'm a messenger, how can I put out a message? Well, I can do it on a t-shirt. I can do it in a book. I can do it on a podcast. I can do it on the radio. I can do it in a live. I can do it on a post. I can do it in quotes. I can do it in spoken word. How can I get a message out? And I'm using myself as an example because that's actually how I've done that. I'm showing you a system that I operate in and I've done it in those spaces where it's not going to be, if I'm speaking, if let's just say I'm a chef, and I'm a chef because it's related to nutrition. And that's one of the laws of holistics. Let's just say, but I'm only a chef. Let's say I don't do nothing else. I'm just a chef. Then, beloved, if these other avenues that is not food related, if I get asked and provided opportunities to touch on subjects that is not related to food, and I'm talking about if I'm only a chef, if it's not related to, some of you may know as diet, but I don't use diet, I use meal, and I spell it MHEL because heal is in the word meal, and I don't use diet. So just to help you understand what I'm saying, if I'm speaking as a chef and only as a chef, if I'm only a chef and that's all I do, and they ask me to come and speak on finances, I may know about finances, But that's not where I'm going to be a master at the expertise or an expert. I'm not going to be able to be a master in talking about finances if every day, all day, I'm surrounded by food and I know food. I may know finances because I deal with my own finances. I deal with, in that kind of way. I may know finances even if I study it, but I won't come on and talk about it. I'm going to talk about things related to diet or meal. I'm going to talk about things that's diet related, meal related, food related, nutrition related. You understand what I'm saying? I'm going to talk about things related to what you eat, what's in what you eat, how you should cook, how you should prepare, how you should preserve, how you should store, how you should sanitize. I'm going to talk about all things food related. You understand? So I'm not going to talk about all these other different things. So, let's look at Martha Stewart. Prime example, right? Martha Stewart is what you may call a homemaker. Martha Stewart is a homemaker. Martha Stewart can talk in fashion. And I'm sorry, that was the wrong word. Decor. I'm thinking fashion because you're designing your home, but home decor. Martha Stewart can even talk about remodeling. Martha Stewart could talk about remodeling. Martha Stewart could talk about home decor. Martha Stewart could talk about home designs. Martha Stewart can even talk about home layout. She could talk about reconstruction. Martha Stewart can talk about food. You understand? Martha Stewart can talk about parenting. Martha Stewart can talk, which she does. She talks in these areas. Martha Stewart can talk about all of these things because it's related to homemaking. How do you make a house a home? You understand? All the things that go into that. So Martha Stewart, you may see her talking about making a beautiful meal one day. And then you may see her talking about designing a house one day. And you'll be like, Martha Stewart, you usually on the Food Network channel. What are you doing over here? But Martha Stewart is a homemaker. So Martha Stewart's talking about things related to turning a house into a home, making a home a warm place to be and live. You understand what I'm saying? So that's what I'm saying. When you are giving energy to the wrong thing, you are not able to feed into, quote unquote, your brand. You're not able to feed and grow your brand. Martha Stewart can grow her brand talking about home decor. She can grow her brand talking about, Christmas and Thanksgiving holiday meals. Martha Stewart can talk about home remodels because it's not going to distract her from who she is, the core of what she is. So when you are a messenger like myself, you can speak and write a book because that's another way to put a message out. You can go into fashion because that's another way to put a message out. You can go into, let's say, podcasting. That's another way to put a message out. Radio, publishing, newspaper, articles, blogging. That's another way to put a message out. Any way that you could put a message out. And I've done all these things. I still got blog sites that are up right now that I don't use anymore, but they're still up. You can go check them out. Old blogs that I wrote. But I was always seeking and searching, and it never took me out. You understand what I'm saying? Because when I started out as a speaker, I saw all the avenues and ways I can put my message out there. So I'm not going to talk about stock. I'm not going to talk about, finances. I'm not going to talk about, the modeling industry. I'm not going to talk about any of that. I'm going to talk about what I know. My message has to be related to what I know. I have to relate to what I know. And I say, know what you teach and teach what you know. You understand? Know what you teach and also teach what you know. Because it's nothing like a poor teacher that get out here and just be rambling and don't have no synergy or no synergy and no run along sentence with what they're speaking. They're just all over the place. They don't know how to stick to one thing. They don't know how to stick. And that's a mind that's easily distracted. And so even relationships I can speak on because it's related to what? Holistic healing, right? It's related to the field that I chose to go into. It's related to I can speak into relationships because it's related to healing. It's related to love. It's related to self-love. It's related to self-care, which is all in the holistic field. It's related to, meditation. It's related to arts. Fitness. Expressing your emotions. Expressing your emotions and exercising your truth in a relationship is key. So I can touch on relationships. I'm not a relationship coach. I'm not really going to dive a lot deep into relationships, but I can touch on the relationship aspect and not be off my square, so they say, and not be off my platform. I can still deliver and give the goods to the people that are taking in what I say. So I ask the question again, are you giving energy to the wrong thing? And as I speak about this, let me go further with that. Watch this. Okay? Watch this. When you are looking at life in a holistic way, I created this method I call the Zen Method. Zen, Z-H-E-N. And this Zen method is to be one with self, and is to be one with self and oneness with all, and one with self and in harmony with all. That's the same. So the Zen method is to be one with self in harmony with all things. Okay, so let me go a little bit further into this. When you are one with yourself, beloved, understand that there is no balance. And I know people like to think of, I say this a lot. There's no such thing as balance. There's no such thing as balance. I'm going to explain to you why. Okay? We're still on the topic of, are you giving energy to the wrong things? Okay? We're still on that topic. We haven't gone anywhere yet. We're still on the topic of are you giving energy to the wrong things? And so there's no such thing as balance. And you may say, what are you talking about? You came in, you just coming in. You're like, what the hell does he mean? There's no such thing as balance, but there is a such thing as harmony. See, harmony and balance are two different things. Watch this. Listen to me. I'm going to break it down. Harmony is different from balance. When you are looking for balance in life, when you are looking for things to be balanced in life, what you're also looking for on a subconscious level, are you giving energy to the wrong things? Hear me out. When you're looking to have things balanced in life, guess what you're asking for? You're asking for things to be off center. You're asking for things to be uneven. You're asking for things to be imbalanced. You're asking for things to be, you understand? You following where I'm going with this? So when you are looking for balance, you are also asking and making the notion known to yourself that, okay, I need balance. And then now, because you spoke this into your mind, into yourself, into your subconscious, now you give room for imbalance to grow. Because you're looking for balance. But when I created this method called the Zen Method, Zen, Z-H-E-N, and it means to be in oneness with self and harmony with all things. When you're looking to be in harmony with all things, what you're thus now looking for is not balance, but you're looking for peace. And so when there's peace involved, that's called harmony. When you're in oneness with yourself. And so you don't get distracted so easily. You eliminate distraction when you are in oneness with yourself. Meaning, I am in oneness with who I am, with my message, with my purpose. I'm in oneness with that. Therefore, I don't create balance in my life. I create harmony. So I am content. But even over that, let's go over and above contentment. Even over that, I am also receiving. I am receiving the love that I am putting out. Why? Because I am in oneness with myself, love with myself. I'm in oneness with myself. Therefore, that oneness that I sit in is the core of who I am. That oneness acts like the rock in the pond. So that oneness with myself, that love with myself now does what? Creates and disperses energy outwardly like a ripple in a pond. It doesn't just go in one direction. The ripple forms and disperses outwardly. So when I am in oneness with myself, that harmony thus creates and disperses throughout every genre, every area, every avenue that I'm in. And therefore, you will be able to find me. You can find me in those avenues. You can find me when I'm not even there. Hear me out. Let me say it again. If I'm being asked to show up and speak on meditation, guess what? I may do a Q&A and I may get a question about fitness. I may get a question about nutrition. I may get a question about, and I can answer it. Why? Because I'm in oneness with myself. My purpose is to live out the laws I've created, a system I built around me. Meditation, fitness, nature, nutrition, arts, the 5 laws of holistics. So if I get asked to speak on meditation and that's the genre or the topic they want me to speak on, I may get a question about fitness, about nutrition. I just may get a question about it. But guess what? The reason why a question can come up about that, the reason why a question can even be asked, even though I'm not talking about the subject, is because I'm feeding energy. I'm feeding attention. I'm feeding energy to what? To who I am. In oneness with myself, in harmony with all things. And so that energy disperses into those other avenues that I am also engaged in. So even if I'm not speaking in fitness, you can find me in fitness. Even if I'm not speaking in nutrition, you can find me in nutrition. Meaning a question can be asked about nutrition, even though I'm not speaking on nutrition. And therefore, I can answer the question, because even what I'm speaking on, if I'm speaking on simply just meditation, I can get asked a question about nutrition and I can go into it and answer it. Why? Because from my speaking, from my knowledge, from my message that I speak, even though it was not nutrition based, it was not nutrition related, even though it was not related, it is still related. And they pick that energy up. They may be in the fitness and they picked up the energy that I could answer a question about it. Because I'm centered with myself. I am in oneness with myself, in harmony with all things. So the system I create around me, I'm also feeding into those other things. And they pick that energy up, even though I'm not there on that topic. I'm there. Are you following me? I just killed y'all with that. I know I did. Give me some thumbs up or something for that thing, because I just blazed y'all with that knowledge. You dig what I'm saying? So even when I'm not talking about fitness, they still picked up the energy. They still picked up the message. They still picked it up because I'm feeding. I'm centered with who I am. I'm centered with my purpose. I'm centered with the laws, the systematic laws that I built around me. Meditation may be my topic of today. Meditation may be my topic of today, but they picked up on the energy that I can answer a question about fitness or nutrition or nature. Why is that? Because even when I'm speaking about meditation, beloved, I am in oneness with my laws. I am in oneness with the principles and guidelines I practice. I'm in oneness with it. And because I'm in oneness with it, the ripple effect happens. I'm dispersing energy, feeding all those other areas. And what they're related to, they picked that up and was like, yo, I'm in the gym doing this, or I'm going through this with my girl or my man, or I'm thinking about going into, the natural supplement area, and providing, natural supplements or whatever. And they picked that up from me, even though I'm not talking about that, but they picked it up because I'm feeding the nutritional part of who the laws I practice. Or you get what I'm saying? I'm feeding that. because I practice certain laws called the 5 laws of holistics. And therefore, you won't catch me talking about anything. Like I said before, 99% of the time, you won't find me on here sharing anything that is non-related if it cannot bring me back, or if I cannot come from a place of where I come from. Get what I'm saying? If I cannot come from a place of where I come from. Where I come from, centered at the core of my being, is from the self-healing. I'll say inspirational. The inspiration. If I cannot inspire, giving you some type of message, if I cannot inspire you with the message that will allow me to come back to the center of who I am, I won't come on here and talk about it. If I cannot come on here and talk about something that's related to what I do, my purpose, then I'm not going to talk about it. Again, Martha Stewart, example. You see Martha Stewart, I go to the bookstore all the time, and I see Martha Stewart on cover magazines of home decor, home living. I see her on food magazines, holiday feast. I'm talking all of it. Why? Because she's a homemaker. Martha Stewart's a homemaker. So anything related to in the home, she can talk about. Anything related to holistics, I can talk about. Anything related to finances, if you're a financial coach or a CPA or accountant, you can talk about, if that's what you desire to talk about. You dig what I'm saying? And so let's take this away from work. Let's take this away from work, like your purpose. Let's take it away from that. And let's go into the other areas, like love, relationships. Right? The question is, what are you giving your energy to? Are you giving your energy to the wrong things? So now you got, let's go deeper. Let's dive, let's open this thing up wider. Okay? So let's not make this only work related, purpose related, but let's make it personal too. Let's make it personal. The people around you, your environment. You understand? Are you giving energy to the wrong thing? You know, Jim Rohn, this is motivational speaker on YouTube I used to watch and listen to. And he said you could tell what's in a man's mind by looking at his library. And I don't really buy into that all the way, but there's some truth to it. You understand what I'm saying? There is some truth to it. And the reason why I don't buy into it all the way, because just because a person doesn't have certain books in their library doesn't mean that they don't know, or what they know isn't always in their mind, or you know what I'm saying? So I can have books about children. I can have books in my library about reading about youth. But I may come on here and talk about something unrelated to what my library looked like. Okay? So I just may like to study youth behavior, or I may like to study certain groups of people behavior. I just may like to study that. My library doesn't indicate that I need to talk about what's in my library. But nonetheless, he says you can tell what's in a man's mind by what's in his library, and there's some truth to it, some validity to it, because I look at it like this. What's in your environment, period. What's in your environment? Check your environment, beloved. Literally, check your environment and see what's in your environment. Check your surrounding environment and ask yourself the question, like, is that feeding into you? Is that feeding into your mind? Is that feeding into your psyche, your conscious? Because listen to me, beloved. Whatever is in your environment is not only feeding into your subconscious, beloved, but it's also feeding into your behavior, your habits. the habits that you are producing. And so if you want to produce habits, literally, if you want to produce habits, sometimes, you don't need to actually work on crafting a habit. If you just surround yourself with the things that you like to become, the things you like to do, the things you desire to show up and share with the world. If you just surround yourself with that, you will find yourself developing those habits. Why? Because they say we live from the subconscious, not the conscious. And we do live from our subconscious. We live from the subconscious. So a lot of times you're acting out, beloved. You're acting out not from your conscious mind, but from your subconscious mind. And what's in your subconscious mind is the question. What's in your subconscious mind? That's the question. Well, let's check your environment. Let's do an environmental check. You understand? Let's do an environmental check. What's in your subconscious? Check your environment. Because that's feeding into your subconscious, i.e., thus feeding into your behavior or the output, the results that you're receiving. It's feeding also into the results that you're putting out. So if you're not producing any results in your life, no results, beloved, then you're not feeding into, or you're not living in an environment that's feeding into your subconscious that allows you to stay creative. So the question is, are you giving energy to the wrong thing? And I'm going to reverse the question. Is the wrong thing giving energy to you? Are you giving energy to the wrong thing? And let's reverse it. Is the wrong things giving energy to you because we're living habitually from our subconscious? Our habits are created and produced by our subconscious, but that's produced by what's feeding into our subconscious, i.e., our environment. And so you may be putting out things that you literally are unconscious of and unconscious of. You may be putting out things that you are unconscious of. You're like, yo, where'd this come from? Where'd that come from? Why'd that happen? Well, that happened, beloved, because it's in your psyche. It's in your subconscious. It got lodged in your subconscious because you put it in your environment. It's in your environment. What do I always say? What's the saying I always say? Your biosphere creates your atmosphere. And so your atmosphere is being produced by your biosphere, but what's in the biosphere? Well, what's in the environment? It's a feeding system. Are you giving energy? That's why this topic is key. It's important. Are you giving energy to the wrong thing? Because what you're giving energy to is also giving energy back to you. It's also giving energy back to you. So what are you giving energy to? Because it's giving energy back to you. And if it's not giving, and if I come on here, beloved, and I give energy, I don't demand energy back from you. You know why? I don't demand like you pay me for this. I don't demand that you show some support and share this. I don't demand for you to reciprocate the energy, beloved. I'm living my life completely Zen. I'm living my life completely Zen. Z-H-E-N. The H is for holistic, harmonious. You get what I'm saying? Anytime you see an H in anything I spell, and I spell a lot of things with an H, Soul, S-O-H-L, Zen, Z-H-E-N, Mills, M-H-E-A-L. You understand? I spell God, G-H-A-D. I spell it all with an H. Why? It's related. I make it all related. Every time I see that H, I am subconsciously and psychologically telling myself that it has to be holistic. It has to be related to a holistic way. It has to be related to a holistic lifestyle. It has to be related to a holistic form. So anytime I see that H, it's always a reminder to do it a holistic way. What is holistic even? What is holistic? What is living holistic? Holistic is to be literally, let's just shorten it and break it down and give you an easy understanding of living holistically. It is to be feeding yourself. It is to nourish yourself. It is to love yourself. It is to give back to yourself. That's what it means to live holistically. It means to live, nourish, nurture, give back to yourself on a high vibrational, harmonious level. You understand what I'm saying? And so that's why I talked about that there is no such thing as balance, because if you create balance, then you're also creating subconsciously imbalance. And so you have to look at things as being harmonious. And so harmonious means that all things are coming together. Harmonious means that all things are together. All things are united. All things are one. All things are cohesively integrated, created, and vibing together. All things are in unison. All things are intricately woven together, nice and knit well together, and not all tangled and vexed in a sense. It's not all vexed. It's energy that works together good. It's like the merging of two bodies of water coming together. It's like the merging of the river flowing into the ocean. It just comes together and you couldn't even tell it. Once it comes together, you can't really tell it. If it goes together harmoniously, it just binds like and flows together like so. And so when you are, it's like a river coming together with an ocean. You understand what I'm saying? So, or a river coming together with a body, a lake or something. So therefore, or pouring into, if it poured into a lake, it might overflow, but you need a waterfall for that purpose then, right? So a river flowing into a lake, which will flow into a waterfall, which will, flow into the rest of the earth. So there you have it. And so there you have a river merging together with another body of water. That's called harmonious unison. That's called harmony. That's called two things coming together, and there is no breakage or no stoppage or no. There is no what they call. There is no. How do I say? Encumbersome. It's not encumbering. It's not encumbering. It's not hindering. It's not stopping the energy of flow. You understand? But if you create this idea that there's balance, then you're going to be feeding energy into things, looking for things to stay balanced. You're going to be looking for things to stay balanced. And now you're setting yourself up for emotional fail. Are you giving energy to the wrong thing? Now you set yourself up for emotional failure. Because if you create this ideal of balance, you also subconsciously create imbalance. So when you say, "Oh, I'm just not balanced right now today. I'm just all off today. I'm not feeling real balanced today," because you created the ideal of balance. Because you created the idea of balance, beloved. You also created the idea of imbalance. And because you create the idea of imbalance, okay? Because you created the idea of imbalance subconsciously, now you set yourself up for emotional failure. Cuz, I see you on here. What up, bro? I see my cuz. What's going on with you, brush? Peace and love to my cousin. For y'all don't know, I'm on Facebook and Instagram simultaneously. There you have it. Okay? Okay? Cool. So, because you create yourself up for balance, you create imbalance subconsciously. Now you create emotional, or you set yourself up for emotional failure. Love to you too, cuz. Now you set yourself up for emotional failure. You say, how? Tell me how. Because, beloved, if one day you feel balanced, because you tell yourself you're balanced, now you told yourself that the day could come where you're imbalanced. Now you put yourself in an emotional tailspin and you say, oh, I'm just down right now and people this and beloved. Look for things to be look to be in harmony with things, not in balance with things. Because when you look to be in harmony with things, when you give energy to be in harmony with things, what you're saying to that space is, I'm in harmony with self. I'm in harmony with me. To be Zen is to be one with self. Therefore, that puts you in harmony with all things. Because you're one with self, it puts you. You don't have to try. You don't have to force. You don't have to work. You don't have to put any effort to this happening. Because you're one with self, it puts you in harmony with all things. Let me explain. When you're one with self, beloved, trust me, you can be married. You can be with a girlfriend. You can be with a boyfriend. You can be with somebody. And y'all can have a breakup. Because you entered that relationship with a heavy dose of self-love. Because you entered that relationship already loving yourself. Because you entered that relationship not putting the responsibility of feeling love and being love on them, you will still leave with the same peace you came in with. Are you giving energy to the wrong thing? Beloved, Will Smith said it best about his wife, Jada Pinkett. It is not my job or responsibility to make her happy. That's her responsibility. And so if he starts to make his responsibility her responsibility, if it's his job to make her happy, beloved, guess what's going to happen? He's going to be imbalanced because he's lopsiding the deal. He's lopsiding the deal. He's giving more energy into her, thus giving her a double portion because she may already have self-love, and then he's giving her his self-love. He's pouring into her a double portion. So here she is riding a high wave of self-love and all this love from him, but he's depleted and empty and deployed or devoid of love because he poured it all into her. And so that created imbalance. See what I'm saying? But if he gives energy to himself, then he creates harmony, not balance. He creates harmony because if they break up, he still leaves with the peace he came in with the understanding that all things are for a season, for a reason, or for a lifetime, and all things are not to last forever. All things don't last forever, beloved. All things don't last forever. So you have to look at it like this. You go into a relationship, you don't go in it with the expectation of, I give this relationship a year, 2, 3, 10, 20. No, you go in it with, I'm going to give all of myself to this relationship. And if this relationship don't work out, I'm going to leave with all of myself. You understand? I'm not going to leave pieces of me here. I'm going to, because I'm giving energy to me, I'm feeding me. And because I'm feeding me, when I enter a relationship, beloved, I'm leaving with myself. And I'm leaving with my peace because of that. But if I give, and there's nothing coming back from that, then guess what I do? I leave broken. I leave broken. I leave with parts of me and pieces of me all over the place. Shattered. I leave a shattered man. I don't want to leave a shattered man. I want to leave whole, happy, healthy, and complete. I don't want to leave broken, shattered, in bits and pieces. I want to leave happy, whole, healthy, and complete. How do I do that? Self-love. Feeding into who you are. Feeding into what you do. Feeding into your purpose. Feeding into the things that can give love back to you. And I'm not talking about a person. You know the best love you can give me as a person? The best love you can give me. Love thy neighbor as you love yourself. The best love you can give me is the love you give to yourself. If I see you loving yourself more than I can ever love you, if I see you loving yourself, then you're doing me a better favor. You're doing me a better favor by loving yourself. And because you love yourself, because you are doing that work, and I'm doing the self-love work, now we have harmony. It's like the two bodies of water coming together, merging, and you don't even tell the difference. You can't even tell the difference because the two bodies of water, you loving yourself, he loving himself, coming together, and y'all integrate, y'all interweave, y'all intertwine with each other, y'all fuse together. As I said before, it's like pouring a can of red paint into another can of red paint. When you look into that bucket, where's the first can of red? Where's the first can of red paint? When you look in the bucket, you can't see it. You can't find it. You can't identify it. You can't separate it. So if I pour a can of red paint into a bucket of red paint, all I got is more red paint. If I pour self-love into a relationship of my partner practicing self-love, all I get now is more love of self, self-love, harmony. That's true balance. Harmony. So you got to find harmony with things. You got to find harmony with things. Are you giving energy to the wrong things? And you know if you give energy to it, because it would be a imbalance. It would be a one-sided deal. As you call it, balance. You'll know because it'll be a one-sided deal, beloved. If you're giving energy to the wrong things, it's going to be a one-sided deal. Somebody's giving more than the other, or somebody's not giving nothing at all. And you got to stop looking at what one person gives versus what the other person gives. Let me explain. You got to stop looking at if your man pours into you financially. It's not your job to pour back into him financially. Because if he has a healthy dose of self-love, him pouring into you financially is not him pouring money into you financially. That's him pouring himself into you. And if he pours into you financially, he's only pouring himself into you. Now you have to give the same in equal amount, which means not financial, but you have to give the same and equal amount of self to this. You understand? You have to give the same and equal amount of self to it. And that's where we come in with the word passion. That's why I spoke about passion earlier in this video, where I said, if you're not passionate about something, then it's not going to reap you any reward or any benefit. If there's no passion. And so when he pours into you financially, he's giving of himself. And when you pour it back into him, it don't have to be finances. But when you pour back into him, even though it's not finances, what you're pouring back into him, if it's real, if it's you, if it's all of who you are, then you're giving that from a passionate place. And so therefore the energy matches, it meshes, it equals up. And that's what's called flow. That's what's called harmony. That's what's called two bodies of water coming together. A can of red paint inside of a bucket of red paint. It's a fusion. It's a fusion. It's a fusion of love. It's a fusion of energy. It's a fusion of energy, beloved. So keep giving to yourself. Keep giving to what you love. Keep giving to what you do. Give to that. Beloved, let me tell you something. I'm not wildly rich. I don't think that's a secret because you would be able to tell. I'm not wildly rich. I'm not wildly successful. I'm not wildly, and I know they say, don't say that, don't speak that into existence. I'm giving this as an example for you to understand, so follow. I'm not wildly rich. I'm not wildly, massively living high off the horse. Okay? If that was the truth, you would see it. I think you would see it. But what I am is, beloved, the reason why there's stability in my life, and I say stability, and what I mean by stability, I'll explain a little bit later. But the reason why I am where I am is by decision. It's by decision. What did I say earlier in this video? Not to decide is to decide. And so when you wake up and you don't decide, when you wake up not deciding what you're going to do with your day, what you're going to do with your life, what you're going to do with what you came here to do, if you wake up not deciding, you've actually made a decision. And not only did you make a decision, you've actually left it into the hands of whatever else to decide for you. And therefore, you will end up being easily distracted because to have a decision, beloved, this is about to be a beautiful soliloquy I'm about to break down to you. To have a decision in mind, beloved, is actually lodging. It's almost like it's almost like putting a screen lock on your phone. Having a decision in mind is putting a screen lock in your mind. It's basically you cannot get into this unless you bypass this code. And so therefore, you blocked everything. You blocked yourself from all the distractions. You blocked yourself from all of the things inside the phone beyond that passcode. And the only way to get into that, all of those many things on your phone, you know, whatever it may be, you have to unlock this passcode. But if you don't unlock this passcode, beloved, you're stuck at the screen lock. That's a good thing. When I say that, to be stuck at the screen lock on your phone, to be stuck at the screen lock is you making a decision in your mind. You screen locked this decision in your mind. And so therefore, that screen lock in your mind will not allow you to bypass and get into the mess and the distraction of everything that you're going to get into once you unlock that phone. Following what I'm saying? And so when you create, beloved, when you make a decision, you're creating a screen lock. You're saying, this is what I've decided for my mind to be stuck on right here at this phase for today. This is a decision I'm making to do what I want to do, to get what I need to get done here. And so the reason why I am where I am is by decision. Beloved, there's so many avenues, so many ways. It's really easy to become very, I won't say successful or rich, but it's really easy to get up that ladder that you want to, where you want to be. It's easy to get there. And I'm going to tell you how it's easy. Because everything has a system. Every single thing has a system. And I've seen people come along in life, present to me opportunities that if I was to jump into that opportunity and follow along that system, I've seen people come along in my life, present these opportunities, and they went on to make thousands and hundreds of thousands of dollars. I've seen this personally with people who came to me with very good lucrative opportunities. I've seen it firsthand multiple times. People presented opportunities to me and told me, bro, get in this with me. There's an opportunity here to make a lot of money. Oh, you must don't like money. No, it ain't that I don't like money. I understand that there's a movie that Chris Rock played in, and Chris Rock was chasing after this woman, and his boss told him something. What's the movie called? Unmarried, something like that. Why Did I Get Married? With Chris Rock, and the boss man told Chris Rock, he said, if you chase women, something to this degree. If you chase women, you'll lose money. It's something to this degree, but I remember he said this. But if you chase money, women will always come. If you chase money, if women will always come. Okay? And that's a fact. I'm not speaking that about women or money. But what I'm saying is, if you follow what you're passionate about, if you get up and make if you get up every single day and make a decision to say, this is who I am, this is what I was put here to do, and this is what I'm going to talk about, teach, and live my life out as. If that's the decision you've made with yourself, beloved, trust me, the money's going to come. It's going to come. Okay? And the reason why I am where I am, hear me out. The reason why I am where I am, and I'm going to say it like this. I'm not rich, but I can tell you this much. I'm never broke. You understand what I'm saying? I'm not rich, but I'm never broke. And I say it like that for this reason. Because I know how to manifest. Because I understand energy. As I spoke about the rock in the pond. If I stay centered with my message, if I stay centered with my core message, I'm going to create a ripple effect that's going to disperse energy in all the other areas that I live in my life, that I practice, that I speak about all the time, that I teach and educate on in my life. I'm going to disperse energy toward those other areas and avenues in my life. So if I continue to wake up and make a decision to say, this is who I am and what I'm going to do, what I'm going to speak, what I'm going to teach, what I'm going to learn about, what I'm going to study. You understand what I'm saying? I'm not rich, but I'm never broke. And I say it like that for a reason. I'm never financially broke, but I'm never spiritually, mentally, and emotionally broke either. If I am ever financially broke, beloved, trust me, I live in Zen, in oneness with self, in harmony with all things. I am in harmony. I am in harmonious vibration with God, Ghad. I'm in harmonious vibration with God that money's going to align. That's why I say God. I am Ghadbody, Ghad, the great harmonious alignment of the divine. Because I am God. Because I am God, beloved, I am in alignment, in harmonious alignment with money, because the area in which I speak and teach and educate about, money's tied to it. So money's going to come. Money's going to come. And so I never worry about the money. It always comes. As I said before, it's easy to really make a lot of money. I've been presented with opportunities that I've seen and witnessed people that offer me these opportunities take those opportunities that they were presented to me, and they went on and made thousands to hundreds of thousands of dollars. Literally seen this firsthand with multiple people that brought me opportunities. And when I was on the speaking circuit, speaking all the time, I used to always get presented. I used to get presented with way more opportunities than I do now to jump into this area, that area, that area, that area, to make lucrative amounts of money, lucrative opportunities. And I would always say this. This is one thing I used to always say to them. I used to say, if it takes me away from what I do, then I can't do it. Why? Because the energy, beloved. I don't have the energy. There's no passion. There's no passion involved with it. If there's no passion involved with it, there's going to be no energy given to it. If there's no passion involved with it, and I can't speak about things I'm not passionate about. I could talk like this all day for hours because I'm passionate about it. I give energy to it. I'm alive when I speak this message. I'm up with it. I can do it late into the night. I can do it late. I can do it anytime. I can do it all the time. I can speak it whenever I'm ready to speak it and not get tired. Because I'm passionate about it. What you're passionate about, you have the energy for. And so I would always say, if it takes me away from what I do, I can't do it. Because it's not about the money. It's about the passion. If I don't have no passion to speak about that, or to even go learn and study about it, beloved, I'm not going to give any energy. My energy is going to be off. It's not going to be good. It's not going to be good. So I'm not going to be able to give to it like I would love to. You understand? Anything I get involved with, beloved, I got to give 100%. As far as if it helps me stay in harmonious alignment with who I am and what I do, and if that's for you, and if that's who you are, and if it brings you into harmonious alignment with me, then beloved, we're going to work well together. Because like I said, it's the visual of two bodies of water merging together. You can't tell the difference from one or the other. It's like pouring a can of red paint into a bucket of red paint. You cannot identify the can of red paint inside the bucket of red paint. You cannot identify it. So it's merged and fused together. So you're not going to be able to tell the difference. So when we come together, when we speak, it'll sound like the same language. It'll be the same language. It's not going to take away from me or take away from you. You understand? So therefore, don't be giving your energy to things that do not feed back into you. Don't be giving your energy away. Give your energy to things that feed you, that gives you passion, that gives you drive, that wakes you up and makes you want to do it even more. That keeps your engine and your juices going to be creative and create something more for making it happen. I'm never, like I said, I'm not rich. Okay? And the people that I've seen go on and make thousands and thousands of dollars, I support them. I applaud them. Happy for you. Grateful for you. Thankful for you that you did that. As I said before, I can make thousands of dollars, hundreds of thousands of dollars, and really be on a different wave right now, a different path right now in life. I can do that. I could. Because everything has a system. And if I follow the system to doing that, beloved, trust me, anybody will become. Amazon has a system that if you want to do drop shipping with Amazon, if you want to do drop shipping with eBay, if you want to do drop shipping with any of these online marketplaces, if you want to do drop shipping with Amazon, Amazon has a system for you where literally hundreds of thousands of people on the internet has made millions of dollars from selling products on Amazon. It's called drop shipping. You understand? Where people sell other people's products on Amazon. becoming an affiliate. Amazon has a system for you to make millions by becoming an affiliate of Amazon. And if you want to make millions, go to Amazon, become an affiliate, do drop shipping. You will make millions. They have a system that can make that happen for you. Okay? It's not hard to be a millionaire if you follow the system. People become millionaires every day because they're following a system. You understand? I teach holistics. My field is not necessarily tinging upon how much money you can make, but how much you can enhance your life and live a quality of life. So my genre is not based tinging upon how much money you can make, but how much quality of life you can live. That's what it's tinging upon. How much quality can you get out of life? That's what I'm about. I want to live, I want to be able to travel without always getting sick when I travel. I want to be able to travel without always...
Sorry, I don't know that.
Shut up, Alexa. I want to be able to travel without always feeling like I can't because I don't have the resources. I want to always be able to get up and do things that I love to do, because the quality of life that I live allows me to do it. I don't want to be everywhere I go and visit in any other countries I go. I don't want to go there and always get sick from the food I eat. I want to build up my immune system so strong so that when I go to other countries and I eat their food, I don't get sick. Now, when I went to Egypt, I was able to eat their food and not have one single problem until I landed back into the United States and ended up being on the toilet for 36 hours straight. You know what I'm saying? Like nonstop, you know. So, you know what I'm saying? Because it's different over there. But I want to have a quality of life. And so my practice and what I teach is not going to bring you a lucrative advance. It's not going to bring you lucrative opportunities, and it's not going to help you produce a financial wealth plan to create generational wealth for you and your family. Some people are able to create that, have financial success and a life of good health. There's people out there doing it. But my focus isn't financial success, then get to my health second. My focus is health first, then let the finances and all the other good things that come from that flow in. And that's what's happening. That's what's happening now. The more and more I stick to what I know, the more and more I give energy to what I do, the more and more I give energy to what I'm passionate about and what I love, the more and more people, that door, that floodgate is left open. But see, every time I stay in my field, every time I work my field, every time I stay talking about what I know and what I do, I keep the floodgate open. I only widen it. I only widen the floodgate more. For more people to flow in. For more water to come in. For more people to come in. I'm only opening and widening the floodgate more the more I talk about it. Why? Because the more I talk about it, the more broad, the more bandwidth, the more I expand in the knowledge, and the more my knowledge has outreach, the more I become a satellite. Basically, I'm touching many people with what I speak. My message becomes a satellite. You can tap into it. You understand? The more I speak on what I love and what I'm passionate about, the more my message becomes a satellite, a frequency that people are able to find and tap into it. You understand? That's why it's important to give energy to the right things, not give energy to the wrong things. It's important that you give energy to the right things because you widen the gate of the floodgates. You open the floodgates more. The more you put out there on what you speak about, the wider that floodgate gets. The more you put out there what you're passionate about, the wider that floodgates opens. And the more people are allowed to flow in. And the more people are allowed to find your frequency and tap into it like a satellite and be able to channel in, tune up, and raise up and elevate from what you put out there. That's why I make a conscious decision every day. If I'm speaking or if I'm on here teaching, if I'm on here giving the message, whatever I'm on here doing, it's a conscious decision. I know what I'm doing. I know that I'm on here speaking about this, and I'm going to always speak about this because I understand energy and how it works. The more I come on here and speak about it, the wider I open that gate, the more people are able to flow in and find me. As I keep and continuously speak on it. So trust me, beloved. Give energy to the things you love, so that more people can find you. And the finances will start trickling in. But trust me, beloved, if you stay creative, if you stay in tune with what you're passionate about, trust me, the finances are going to stop trickling in and they're going to flow in. They're going to trickle in now. They're going to trickle in. And then all of a sudden there's going to be a rush. Like opening up the Hoover Dam and all the water just starts to flow. The more and more you speak on what you know, the more and more you know what you teach and teach what you know. The more you do that, the more you open the gate, the more it allows energy to flow in. And money is a part of that energy circuit. Money is a part of that currency, that flow. Is going to come. Chase what you love. Give energy to what you love. Beloved, money is going to follow that. You can chase money. You can go after the money, go after the bag, but it's going to be temporary because it's not what you're passionate about. It's not what you're passionate about, and the energy is going to fizzle out. That's why I can do this, because I'm passionate about it and I got the energy for it. I would never fizzle out from talking about this because I got the passion for it. So I'm not going to fizzle out. But some of you go into areas of life that don't have nothing to do with what you're passionate about, and you flame out, fizzle out early. You get you a quick bag, you get your early bag, and you flame out. You fizzle out. Why? Because it's not something you're passionate about. You just dispersed energy into the wrong thing that had nothing to do with who you are and related to what you do. Yeah, you got you a quick bag, you got your quick come up, but what's lost more is the progression you could have been making, or the progression you could have made on pouring more into what you're passionate about. You lose on the progression of that. You lose more eyes, more ears, more people finding that frequency, tapping into that frequency. You lose more people tapping into that frequency. You lose the ability, the opportunity of more people being able to find that frequency. Your gate begins to narrow and shut and get narrower and narrower and narrower until it eventually closes and no one can get into it. Because they don't know you for being that kind of person. They don't know you for always talking about that. They don't know you for, always presenting that type of message. Now, because I had to even put the message out there on Facebook, now people come in my inbox. Less and less people come in my inbox. But more and more people that do come in my inbox. Because I had to put a message out there, don't come in my inbox being thirsty. People was coming in my inbox being thirsty. And I'm like, stop coming in my inbox being thirsty. And when I put that message out there, now more people come in my inbox for the right reason. And I'm able to feed into them now and give them what they're asking me about. And 99.999% of the time, it's related to what I do, what I talk about, what I love to, what I'm passionate about. So there you have it, beloved. Keep putting out the frequency of what you're passionate about. Because the more you do that, the more you widen widening the progression of those gates opening. But the less and less you stop, you get distracted, you go over here and you see a quick bag and you go over there and grab that bag, beloved, that meter comes down. That meter comes down. It's like taking your foot off the gas. What happens when you take your foot off the gas? The RPMs go down. You understand what I'm saying? The RPMs go down when you take your foot off the gas. The moment you take your foot off the gas, the RPMs go down, and the car eventually will come to a complete stop. Eventually, keep your foot on the gas, and let people see what your drive is about. Let them see what you're driven about, passionate about. Okay? So as I said before, are you giving energy to the wrong things? If you are, it's time to quit. Make a decision. Get up and say, I'm no longer going to give energy to the wrong things. I'm going to look into my environment and see what's in my environment, because also what's in your environment has to be giving energy back into you. Has to be feeding you on a subconscious level. All right? Beloved, peace. I love you. I love me. I love us. Be well, be loved, and be light, beloved. And always remember, live from the soul. Live from the soul. Because it's the only way to be. Peace.